What we've got, it's got a lot of bullocks.
I've got a lot of bullocks.
Is that 2 Scoutman units?
No. They're normal infantry units, Ken.
Oh, that's a unit of 10?
5.
2 units of 5?
2 units of 5.
Oh, interesting. Inexperienced, yep.
Yes. And then
the 88 gun.
Time 88 and the Type 92.
Type 92 with the light medium machine gun and the heavy machine gun.
Yep.
Your little half-track carrier with the 3 machine guns.
Yeah, the Ho-Ha.
The IGO.
IGO, yeah, IGO.
The IGO Yugo.
Yeah, IGO.
Light howitzer. And then the
tank destroyer.
Tank destroyer. Is that a ho-hum?
It's not far off, Ken, actually. Hang on a minute. It is it's on here somewhere.
And then light anti-tank gun or medium?
Light.
Light anti-tank gun.
It's the Ho-Nai, actually.
The Ho-Nai.
The Ho-Nai 3.
Ho-Nai 3. Okay then. And then we got what? A sniper, 2 snipers.
Sorry, 2 sniper teams.
2 sniper teams, 2 anti-suicide teams.
Yep. Flamethrower.
A flamethrower.
Yep. Over there.
Ah, right. Yep.
Flamethrower. Then vets.
Yep.
Regular. 2 second lieutenants. 18 dice.
18 dice.
Eat that.
Harsh.
I don't know.
So, my late war this time around, change up from the one with the Panzer IV from last time. I've got a little sniper unit over here, veteran. I've got the 2nd Lieutenant and his mate armed with assault rifles. 2 Fallschirm Jaeger units. Each Fallschirm Jaeger unit has 3 assault rifles. NCO has a submachine gun. They've got a light machine gun in the team within them and 2 Panzerfausts. At the back I've got the Stummel, which has got the light howitzer and a front facing medium machine gun. Taking the Puma, which has got the medium anti-tank gun and is fully enclosed. Got another Fallschirm Jaeger unit behind it, which has got NCO and 2 LMGs, a squad of 8. Then a little HERE unit, just rifles and 1 light machine gun. A 2nd Lieutenant for my 2nd platoon, and an assault unit which hasn't actually got the Panzerschreck. I've got to get a flamethrower model, so it's got a flamethrower, it's got 4 submachine guns and a couple of rifles, and then at the back I've got a medium mortar with a spotter. And that's it. That's 1250 points, and what we're looking at is 11 order dice there, so we're playing 18 for the Japanese. That should be a bit of an interesting one. So we'll roll up scenario and see what we've got and set up the table. So another game of bolt action, and we're running 1250 points, and it is going to be 2 reinforced platoons, Japanese and late Germans. We've set up the table, we've got some ruins spread out in different places, a couple of hills, some woods. We're going to play hold until relieved, so in the middle is an ammo dump. And so we've got a few more buildings over here, a bit more trees, a bit of woods, some walls and different things. Yep, so hold until retrieved, and we're going to roll up for who's going to be attacker, who's defender, and then we'll roll into turn 1. So, it turned out that I was going to be attacking and Colin defending. I decided to put all of my infantry on, with the exception of the assault engineers in the Stummel. They would stay off. My plan was to push the infantry forward, the Fallschirm Jaegers as the stubborn infantry, put them forward to try and take the centre objective. I put 1 unit on the left flank to try and draw some things off there, but the main bulk was in the centre, and that's what I was going to go for. Puma could come on at any point to take out some of Colin's armour, and the Stummel, when it came on, could use its light howitzer to do some damage to either troops or even just put pins on vehicles. So that was the plan. Push the infantry up the centre, bring on the Stummel, probably from the centre with the engineers to try and take the objective. And could be a tall order, but we'll see how we go. So set up for turn 1. Point defence. the defender can set up all the snipers and anything that comes on the table initially, so that's observers, and in the Japanese case the anti-tank guys. They get to set them up first, and they can set up anywhere on the table because there is no set defender deployment zone. So initial setup, we had one sniper set up in the building over there. We've got a Japanese unit that has to be within 6 inches of the objective, 2 of those, so you've got the gun in the middle and the Japanese squad to the back. We've then got another sniper in the field here and another anti-tank man over here. There's another anti-tank man who's behind the house in the far side. So they're set up. So we put out the dice, so you can't set up anywhere within 18 inches. If you're the attacker, you can set up anywhere, but you've got to be within you can't be within 18 inches of the objective or an enemy unit. So it really did force me quite far out. It was either going to be well over onto the back table edge, and then obviously first wave of the Japanese can come on that table edge, or over on this side. So I was really stuck on looking at where I was going to go. So I've put one Fallschirmjäger squad out on the far side flank, and there's the sniper up there, a bit of sniper bait. I've got another Fallschirmjäger unit behind the wall there. The here regular unit just there. The observer who can actually see the gun emplacement in the centre. And then we've got a Fallschirmjäger squad which is on here. The second lieutenant marked into here. Another second lieutenant in between the 2 squads there. And then the sniper team has come right on this far edge to give me an opportunity to try and take out the little anti-tank guy in the wood, in the building there. Those are ruins, so we'll see how we go. But very interesting on that. For the attacker, you can put any or all of your infantry units down, and the rest of your army comes on as reserve. Whereas the Japanese, once they've put down all their snipers and everyone else, which can come on as hidden, they then had out of the 18 dice, they had 6 to divide up their army as first wave and 6 as their reserve. So we'll turn into turn 1 and we'll see how we go. But there are some interesting things when you set up on the scenario and you read through the initial blurb in the scenarios, and then for the actual scenario itself. So it does seem a bit of an advantage to the Japanese on defence. But we'll run into the game, so we'll see you later. So, end of turn 1, and we've got some bits and pieces that have come on. We've got the little 92 that's come on into the centre. We've got the Take Hunter that's coming on the back end of the board, coming up into the woods. And we've got the Igo that's coming on the board there. So little infantry squads have come on. Another one on there. The Japanese in the centre have advanced out. The big gun in the centre was on ambush, and I moved up my here grenadiers into the courtyard of the ruin, and Colin got a 6 on the dice to hit them, and then took out 4 of them. So, but they gave them 4 pins, but they passed their leadership check and are still remaining. Moved up the other unit of Fallschirmjägers into the ruin and took a shot at the Japanese, but despite quite a lot of shots, only did a pin. Over on the far side, moved the Fallschirmjägers into part of cover. Obviously they're not going to get it because there's only 3 of them in there at the moment, but they took a shot at the sniper who had put a pin on them, but they couldn't return the favour with a pin. So end of turn 1, first blood to the Japanese, taking the over half the unit out of the here, and we'll move into turn 2. But what was quite significant was that the Japanese dice, so I think the first 5 out were Japanese, which did cause a bit of a problem. My little sniper unit down here in the far corner did take a shot at the guy in the ruin, missed him, and he's run off behind it, so can't see him now. Brought on my mortar this turn. A bit of a mistake, could have brought him on the first turn, could have put him down on the first turn, but there we go. Always something that you forget or do wrong. So we're going to turn 2 now, and let's see if we can buck the odds and get a German dice out first. End of turn 2, and the Germans have taken a little bit of a hammering. The Falchion Jaegers in the centre were hit by the IGO, and 3 pins were put on it, but it also had a couple of pins put on from sniping units, and it's now up to 5 pins, so that's not going to do very much this turn apart from try and rally. I've tried to put a few pins on the 88 in the middle by using my officers to come up and put pins on it. I only was able to put 1 pin. It's been on ambush, trying to keep things off of my table edge, because I've got the Stummel to bring on and I had the Puma to bring on. So I've not really wanted to run them head on. I thought I'll try and put some pins on them so it would make shooting at them a little bit more difficult. Didn't really pan out as I wanted. I've run the sniper team up on this flank. They're not really in the game, so they're just playing their bits over there. The mortar team took a shot at the 88 and needed a 6 obviously on the first turn, but rolled a 5. Didn't get it, so next turn they need a 5 to hit. Over in the centre we've rallied the small here unit, and they've now got 1 pin left. The Fallschirmjäger squad in the centre moved up to the wall and took a shot at the 88, and they were the ones who put the 1 pin on it. With all the shots that they had, it was still needing 6s to hit. The unit here moved up into the rough ground and took a shot at the snipers. Again, didn't do anything. And then I tried to put a little bit of pressure on and rolled the Puma out. Took a shot at the 92 because I thought that was going to come up and put some damage on me, but failed to hit. And then of course Japanese dice out and the tank hunter comes out, needing a 4. Crazy. Moved for long range. 5 penetration. Less than half, so it wasn't a -1 on the penetration. Rolled a 9, penetrated the 8+ on the front of the Puma, dead. So that was gone. That was a bit of a waste. Bit of trouble. The Japanese people, infantry unit in the centre, thought it was a bit risky, so hopped out, back over the fence. The little squads here, the poorly trained ones, are back coming up just to put pressure on. Tricky, easy to kill, but got to get them, and there's an awful lot of troops for me to try and kill. So trying to think what I'm going to do next. I didn't bring the Stummel on. I'm going to try and see what I can do this time. The big gun in the middle is off, but it's still a 2+ and a 6 to try and hit it if I move on with the light anti-tank gun. So very tricky. Not looking at a good here. I might see what we can do. So moving into turn 3. End of turn 3, and the sort of action is all in the centre. Managed to get rid of the big gun in the middle, killed that. The Fallschirmjägers had lost a few pins, but they're back up to 2 now from the different shootings. What you can see there is I brought out the Stummel, took a shot at the light artillery but missed, disembarked the assault engineers and moved up. However, Collins countered that with his inexperienced squad, moving them into the building, and then they took a shot out and put a pin on there. The anti-tank killer on the top of the hill moved, took a shot and rolled a 5 to hit, as Colin did. He has rolled an awful lot of 6s and 5s to get long range shots in. So that's put 3 pins on the assault engineers. That's more or less really caused them a real problem. Not sure they're going to be able to move next turn, but we'll see how we can go with that. So yeah, they've got leadership 10 down to 7. Might be able to support them with an officer to take them up to 8. Might lose 1 pin and then charge in to there. But we've got the inexperienced squad over here of 3, which can still put a lot of hurt in. And the main unit there. Colin's still got the half track off table in reserve. It's failed its test to come on twice. Yeah, trying to move this squad of Fallschirmjägers over more into the centre to be able to threaten the centre again. Got the little unit of here grenadiers there. They may be able to do a little bit of trouble. And then moved the sniper team into the woods. Took a shot at the officer. Didn't hit him. They were just using their normal shooting rather than sniper shooting. The assault engineers were able to kill a couple of the inexperienced squad and put one pin on them. So at the moment, looking generally in the Japanese favour. I would hazard a guess on this one. So we'll move off into turn 4. Into turn 4, and the Fallschirmjägers are taking a bit of a heavy hammering. The squad in the ruins is now down to 4 men, and 6 pins. The officer has been shot, and his sidekick is left there. He passed his leadership test, so he's there okay. Moved up the little here unit to the middle. The Stummel is immobilised, took a hit. The assault engineers went down last time, and they're on 5 pins for this turn around. I've moved the little officer out there, hoping that if I get a lucky dice, I might be able to do something with them. The Fallschirmjägers over here rallied, so they lost all pins. The Fallschirmjägers around here are moving around at snail pace, really, because some of them are still left in the rough ground, so they can only move 6. And we've moved the little here unit to fill this gap up here. The little armoured car survived the mortar that was homed in on him on a 5, but I rolled a 4. That was a bit sad. They've been putting the pins on the unit that were down. The unit in the middle fired. As you can see there, the little Japanese half-track. 3 machine guns. 3 machine guns. Can you fancy that? And the contents have hopped out, which is a veteran squad, a LMG, a flamethrower, and an officer. They've all hopped out. The other Japanese are hogging the wall again. And the Yak team came on. Let's see if we can focus on that Yak team, because he is very good. He's a very nice Yak team. Yeah, we've got little troopers, and he's got little Yaks. Oh, no. So yeah, end of turn 4. Japanese, I still think you're in a solid spot here, and we'll see what comes up. That Yaigo at the back is still causing troubles, and there's a problem. So we'll move into turn 5 and see where we go. End of turn 5, and things are hotting up. Over on this side, the Japanese officer was charged by the Fallschirmjägers. Not Fallschirmjägers, the sniper team, and they were able to kill him outright. And then they, whatever the word is,
stuffed him, basically.
Stuffed him, and then moved back into the woods. So that meant that the little anti-tank guy didn't fancy his chances, and he ran back off into the ruins. The unit here advanced up to try and take a shot at the Fallschirmjägers, who have been hit by more weapons this time, so they're moved up to 7. We've advanced out the Fallschirmjägers up to the back end of the Stummel. I may have left it a bit too late because we're moving into turn 6. They've got a run move which might take them within 3 inches of the building. The problem is I can't interpenetrate those down engineers because they are down. I've taken the dice off, but actually I want to keep them down for this turn. But we shall stick the dice down for them. I should have been doing this earlier on. Oh, sorry, around everywhere there. So they've got their down order still, which I should have done last turn, which would have given them D3 pins relief, but we'll see if that helps them on this turn. So the Fallschirmjäger unit on this side took a shot with their Panzerfaust and blew up the little 94. they have got no pins this turn around. We'll see how they go. The little unit of 3 here took a pin, took a shot, and 2 of them died. Took a leadership test on -2 because of the half rule and the one, and he passed his test, and he's run up towards the back of the engineers. But there's only what we've got left of the engineers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 engineers left. So we shall see what happens. The Japanese are massing over on the far side. The unit from the half track has advanced up, and the half track also advanced up. Took a few shots, but wasn't able to put any pins on anyone. So moving into turn 6, it's going to be a sort of a telltale turn, as it always normally is. But obviously, I think there is a possibility of a turn 7 if the dice are rolled in that favour. So we'll see what we've got at the end of turn 6. So, end of turn 6, and we're just taking stock of what we've got. What we've done is the Japanese flame team has come around the corner, taken a shot at the the assault engineers who were on the ground and down, but failed to hit them. Needed a 4, rolled a 3. I then advanced up my single hit guy there, and took a shot and put 1 pin on the flame team. I've then advanced up the unit out of the ruins, and they're now within 3. So at the moment I've got 3 units within 3 inches. Whether we get the last turn on a roll of 4, 5 or 6, we shall see. To counter that, Collins moved up the Japanese squad on the left to give them a chance to charge in on the Fallschirmjägers who are on the 2 pins there. I've advanced up my last unit of Fallschirmjägers onto the top of the hill. Possibly they might be able to do something from there. We don't know. But at the moment, it is all hinging on this last dice roll to see if it ends as a draw. Although we haven't looked at the victory results, I don't know if it's a draw. Then it counts dice as dead. Don't know. No, we'll have to have a look at that.
Well, it's pretty even. We're on 3
pretty
apiece.
even. 3 dice apiece at the moment. So we shall see. No, it might even be more, Colin. Yeah.
That's it.
Oop, there's another one.
4-3 then.
Oop, it's a bit shaky on the camera there. So it's 4-3 to the Japanese. So we'll have to have a look at that. But we'll roll the dice. Colin, would you like to roll the dice?
If I must.
Yeah.
What are we saying? 4, 5, 6?
Yeah, roll it in that space there.
Sorry, 4.
4, and we've got another turn. So not good for the Fallschirmjägers, I don't think, but we'll head on into turn 7 and see where we are after that. End of turn 7, and what you can see very clearly is a distinct lack of Germans near the building. Well, the ruins anyway. So much firepower coming out of the Yago that hit, the little anti-tank gun that hit, the sniper that hit, left 1 man of the Fallschirmjägers who passed his leadership test and stayed as a stubborn, and sadly the shooting destroyed the unit in the front of him because they were charged by the Japanese inexperienced unit from the building, and that allowed the other ones to move into it to take up their position. These ones here charged round and killed the Fallschirmjägers, although they were on ambush. I had 7 shots and didn't kill any of the Japanese as they charged in, but never mind. They were then decimated by the Japanese, and this unit that took up the space of the an inexperienced were able to shoot the last Fallschirmjäger. No, it was a Heer who was... No, it was a Fallschirmjäger at this turn, who was hanging just by the wall, and he was killed. So, final turn 7, a win to the Japanese. Balanced up the loss of the Japanese last time. So, yeah, down to the wire again, as they normally tend to be. Hoping for a draw, hanging on, but sadly didn't get it. So I'll round things up afterwards there. Sadly, this game I don't think went the way I really intended it to. Right at the beginning, the two lucky shots with Colin requiring sixes really caused my troops to falter. Hit the two big squads and they didn't recover. A couple of mistakes, I think. Probably bought on the Stummel and the engineers too soon. I think perhaps one turn later may have been much better idea. It could have got them up there much quicker and got them out. Just don't know. And then the last turn, obviously able to get in position for a draw if the game had stopped on turn 6. But as you saw, unfortunately, the roll went against me, and Colin got a turn 7. I looked at the placements of the troops, and I don't know. Possibly if I'd done things in a different order with moving them up, I might have just been able to get one man in to take the draw in turn 7. But very difficult to get rid of everything of the Japanese. I think it was losing my units down to half strength early on and committing the Stummel and the engineers too soon. Cost me the game, I think. The Stummel, I put the Stummel in and I put in the Puma. In the last game I had the Panzer IV, which did Tiger Fear, and I wanted to see how these units would work. And obviously with the Stummel with the light howitzer and the transport capacity. Not sure, I'll have to give it another go. Obviously I think for the tournament that's coming up I'll stick with the Panzer IV variation of the list. That seemed to work better, but I'd still like to give the half track Stummel and the Puma a run out and see how it works again. But I think tournament Panzer IV Tiger Fear. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Any comments, please leave them below and I'll answer them. Like if you do, subscribe if you want to see more, and take care, and we'll see you soon.